Morrison, Colorado at Dinosaur Ridge. This is a prehistoric dinosaur fossil site. There's supposed to be some really cool dino tracks on this trail, one of the largest concentrations in the country, and it's right in the Metro Denver area, so I thought I'd check it out. Let's go. I'm starting out at the Vistior Center complex to visit their little dinosaur museum. Then I'm going to drive over to the Dinosaur Ridge trail itself. But first, I found a bunny. Here is an iguanodon. It's a very funny looking dinosaur, and I am familiar with these because of the Dinosaur Dark Ride at Disney's Animal Kingdom, where you go back in time and bring back an iguanodon. And here is a Stegosaurus. And yes, these did live in what is now Colorado. There are only 2 full-size dinosaur sculptures. This is not a full-fledged dinosaur park, though I think it would benefit from having some more. And there's the bunny again. There is an Allosaurus backbone fossil underneath this tarp, so we can't see it. Most visitors will go to Dinosaur Ridge on a bus tour that drives the trail. I will not be doing that because I don't like bus tours and would prefer to walk and take my time anyways. But if you visit and don't feel like hiking that ridge, then this is a good option. That's a very American Stegosaurus. Next, I'm going to go through the Dinosaur Ridge exhibit hall, a small museum about the dinosaurs that once roamed here. Here are some fossilized leaf impressions left 68 million years ago. These were left by palm fronds, so that means Colorado was warmer during the late Cretaceous period. And there's a dino footprint. This guy looks vicious. This is a little one-room museum with some dinosaur fossils. This is a replica of a ginormous Rybacosaur vertebra. The real one was discovered around here in 1877, but only recently in 2018 was the correct dinosaur recognized. They used to think it was from something else. Here you can see where this vertebra was located on the correct dinosaur, the Rybacosaur. That's crazy. Here's a map of North America during the early Cretaceous period, about 120 million years ago, when most of this was part of a waterway. Here's a Diplosaurus skull. It had a very crocodilian-shaped head. Here is one of the many different species of sauropods. They were large herbivores in the Cretaceous period. This one is chowing down on some leaves. Hadrosaurs were also here in Colorado during the late Cretaceous period. They left some of the footprints on Dinosaur Ridge, and here are 2 fossilized legs. They were able to walk on 2 or 4 legs, depending on what they felt like. On this trace fossil, there is evidence of bumps and burrows made by worms and other invertebrates where they left their mark on sandstone. There is an iguanodon's footprint. Here's a map of the continent 105 million years ago. These are some more leaf impressions. They are the earliest examples of flowering plants, or angiosperms, on Dinosaur Ridge. That's a bark impression from a tree that stood over 100 million years ago. Here are some depictions of what it was like 92 million years ago. There was some interesting sea life abound. These are some fossils from the seaways, including ammonite, nautiloid, and nautilus shells. That's a cool dinosaur track. A duck-billed dinosaur left these at Dinosaur Ridge, like almost all the dino tracks, between 95 and 105 million years ago. Here's another Cararicnium footprint that was apparently returned back to Dinosaur Ridge. This is the footprint of a Triceratops. There were Triceratops around here, and the first evidence found of the famous dinosaur was discovered here in Colorado, not too far away. These are not dinosaur tracks. They are bird tracks, even though apparently dinosaurs and birds are pretty similar. These are crocodilian Meliella tracks. The one that left these was swimming through shallow water, sometimes fully landing a foot, and sometimes just scraping the sand with a claw. There's a map of the late Cretaceous period, about 68 million years ago. Evidence like coal and fossilized palm fronds means it was pretty warm and humid here in the Denver area, with lots of rainfall. This is the real femur bone of a Diplodocus. They were a type of sauropod with a lanky long neck. And that is a replica Diplodocus skull. Here are some more herbivore remnants, like the skull of a Camarasaurus. This is a replica Apatosaurus skull. They're a pretty well-known dinosaur. The Apatosaurus was discovered here at Dinosaur Ridge in 1877. These are from the Triceratops Trail in Golden, Colorado. That's not far from here, but I don't have time to do it. I'll do that another time. And here's a replica T-Rex footprint. One cannot simply leave the T-Rex out of a dinosaur museum. And there's a pterodactyl hanging from the ceiling. I have come over to the nearby entrance of the Dinosaur Ridge Trail, and I'm going to hike some of it. Excavations of Dinosaur Ridge began in 1877, and like I mentioned, the first evidence of the Apatosaurus was discovered here, along with the discoveries of the Stegosaurus, the Diplodocus, and the Allosaurus, which is pretty amazing. All of this gray shale on the slope was originally mud and organic materials that flowed out and settled to the bottom of the Western Interior Seaway, which covered this spot during the early Cretaceous period, and at one point it included the entire state of Colorado. There's some Dakota sandstone. The view from up here is great. Those are some very green hills. Here are some remains of Crocodile Creek. These layers are 100 million years old, and a lot of fossils of dinosaur hunting crocodiles were discovered here, many like the one we saw in the museum, where they would drag their claws across sandy shallows. This spot was a shallow tidal coastal channel, and the crocodiles would often wait here for the dinosaurs to pass by. There are both dinosaur and giant crocodile tracks on that surface. Here's the first large dinosaur track site. This is pretty cool. This one is believed to be rare evidence of a dinosaur courtship, where a male dinosaur basically exaggerated its movement and moved around, flinging its head back to impress a lady dinosaur. Apparently that was attractive. Here are some fossilized wave ripple marks. 100 million years ago, there was a flat beach right here, so the path of waves washing on the shoreline has been emblazoned for eternity. Alright, this is the big one. This is one of the largest dinosaur track sites in the entire world. A whole stampede left their marks on this spot, and it's incredibly clear and well preserved. This is really awesome. So all of this was a muddy tidal flat caused by the fluctuating sea levels here, a continuation of that flat beach where the wave impressions were left. At one point, a group of about a dozen migrating dinosaurs stomped through right here and left their underprints. That is a lot of what you're seeing. Most of them are hadrosaur footprints. Again, they were duck-billed dinosaurs, and clearly they had 3 rounded toes with feet about as wide as they are long. There are also some smaller omnivorous dino footprints here, interspersed between the Hadrosaur Stampede. That is an ornithominid track. And there are also some giant crocodile prints. I mentioned in the museum that the Hadrosaur was able to walk on 2 or 4 legs. Paleontologists know this because of this fossil. Apparently this is evidence that some were walking on 2 legs and some were on all 4s. This impressive track site was accidentally discovered while they were building the road up Dinosaur Ridge during the 1930s, and today they pride themselves on this being ranked by paleontologists as the #1 dino track site in the nation. Along here there are lots of trace fossils left by a variety of organisms, though they're somewhat hard to tell. Here are some more wave ripple marks. There's apparently another trail called the Dakota Ridge Trail, but I'm not going to do that. I've made it to one end of the ridge on a switchback in the road. Wow, there is a fantastic view up here. Dinosaur Ridge is a massive hogback formation. They form when layered rocks have been tilted, so the softer layers eroded away more rapidly, while others were more resistant, hence Dinosaur Ridge still stands. And these are some mini hogbacks on top of a ginormous hogback. Hogbacks on hogbacks here at Dinosaur Ridge. Speaking of hogbacks, those are some smaller, redder, and more iconic ones. Right over there is the world famous Red Rocks Park, home to the Red Rocks Amphitheater somewhere in there. Dinosaur Ridge does provide a great overview of the Red Rocks Park. Of course, I did go there and have a separate video on that. This is a rare raptor track, one of only 12 known in the world. It was left in the mud here about 105 million years ago. Here's a cast of the raptor track. By the way, it is not the same thing as a velociraptor. Well, I am out of time here at Dinosaur Ridge, so I'm not going to be able to complete the trail. I'll come back and do the entire thing another time. Still, Dinosaur Ridge is fascinating. This is definitely the best dinosaur fossil site I've ever been to. If you enjoyed it, then please make sure to like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Also take a look at my other videos on natural sites, national parks, roadside attractions, museums, and more, including my other videos here in Morrison, Colorado, like Red Rocks Park. Thanks for watching.